studio was invaded this week by a monster cakey and a monster cupcake. You're gonna be terrified. The cakey will be made out of chocolate cake and the cupcake will be made out of marble, which is a mixture of my ultimate chocolate cake and my ultimate vanilla cake. As usual, I need to do the dirty work. I need to remove the cakes from their pans and level and layer. For the cakey, I have 2 cakes, and each one of those layers is going to become a cookie. And then the 6-inch cake, I'm leveling and layering in 2, and that will be the cake circle between the cake cookies to make a cakey. For the cupcake, I have several small round cakes. I'm going to level and layer 2 of them, and those 4 layers will become the bottom of the cupcake. So I'm also going to imprint a smaller circle on the top, which will become the bottom, and carve an A-line, like a cupcake paper, but upside down. Then I'm going to use the other circles to create the little, I don't know what to call it, but when I build a cupcake, I make the layers sort of rounded at the edge and then pile them up so it looks like piping. And I have 4 of those layers. The top one is like a little tip. It almost looks like a Hershey's Kiss.
I can't not notice that you call all of this dirty work.
This is the dirty work. At the end of the day, when I cut this, you wanna see the inside and say, oh, that's clearly cake. But I just wanna get to the fun part. So the 2 layers of 7-inch round, I need to carve them to look like cookies. To do this, I use a small serrated knife and I sort of soften the edges and then I just carve little valleys. And again, this is really a beginner cake because you just need to make it.
Okay.
It is.
Is anyone doing these cakes?
Yeah, has anyone done it? I just need like someone to back me up. So if you believe they're beginner, write it in the comments.
Begin.
If you think these are beginner cakes, begin making them. So now it's time to crumb coat all my cakes. Then I'm gonna fill and stack the bottom of the cupcake and crumb coat. And for the top of the cupcake, I'm crumb coating each one of the little piped layers individually for now. It's not, where's Boo? Put Boo in. We need Boo. We need like, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
See, this is the part I would like. I like decorating. And you skipped it.
Okay, it's better now.
Yeah.
Is it Halloween-y?
Now they know it's Halloween. By now you know what's next. It is time to ice all of the parts of both of these cakes and put them in the fridge to chill. And it's the last step before I get to the part that I love.
I'm assuming you used your invention for the pie.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. So, I had to make a new invention because my invention is too big. Both of my inventions are too big. So, I made a new invention and I made it out of a Cool Whip container. Now I'm finally at the good part. I get to decorate these cakes. So the first thing I want to do is cover the cookie portion of the cakey cake. For this, it's Halloween, so I'm doing a double chocolate chip cookie. For this, I'm going to cover the cake with a mixture of dark modeling chocolate that I mixed with some fondant, just because modeling chocolate has a very different texture and more of a sheen. So when I mix it together, I love the texture, but let me tell you a spooky story. Modeling chocolate is a combination of compound chocolate and corn syrup that you melt together and then you let it set and then you can knead it. When I kneaded it and then I kneaded it with fondant, there were some lumps of chocolate that were left inside. So when I rolled out this mixture and covered my cookie, you can see some lumps of chocolate. Aren't you terrified?
No, it sounds delicious.
I'm terrified. The bottom portion of the cupcake is still upside down, and right now what I'm gonna do is cover it with black fondant. It's a Halloween cupcake, so it's gonna have a black cupcake paper, and I used a little protractor, you know the ruler that's like a semicircle?
Yeah.
Because it was the perfect size to make indents all around the cupcake bottom, like the lines in cupcake paper.
Do you think dentists are very scared of Halloween? Or are they thinking like customers come?
Why dentists?
Because all the candy.
Oh, maybe they like it. Maybe they invented it, in fact. Right? If you want to be rich, invent the problem and the solution. Now I'm gonna jump back to my cookies because they need chips. But I'm not doing plain Hershey Kisses. I'm using Hershey Hugs, which are like black and white striped because they seem more Halloween-y, and they're gonna pop on the dark chocolate cookie. Shout out to Helena because she had to search for them. I'm gonna take that first cookie with less chips, flip it upside down. Then I'm gonna get my iced cake, center it on top, spread a little Italian meringue buttercream, and then I'm gonna put the top cookie on top. By cookie, I mean cake. And now I need to fill that gap with Italian meringue buttercream. I'm using a small offset spatula to just sort of patch it inside all the way around. And then I'm gonna use my spatula, a straight spatula, to make it level with the sides of the cookie. It's really tricky. Just like when I make cakeys, buttercream gets onto the cookie, so buttercream is getting onto the fondant. I'm gonna scrape it away, and I'm also just gonna use a clean paper towel to wipe any of that away. To decorate this cakey, I chopped up Crispy Crunch, because I love it. And I also kind of wanted to make it look like it was some kind of spider. For this, I have some twirly little lollipops. They're pink, which is not scary. On any other day on How to Cake, they'd be perfect, but I need them to be black. So I melted some black compound chocolate and dipped each lollipop in, shook off the excess, and then let it dry on a silicone mat. Now I can assemble the cakey. The first thing I'm going to do is press Crispy Crunch onto the buttercream all the way around. I'm doing this because they're bigger chunks. And then I have a blend of sprinkles that has a lot of black and some red and some sort of subtle gold. I also have 2 gummy eyeballs, eyeball candies, and I have gummy fangs, like it's like gums and teeth. And then I felt like it needed a tongue. And of course I was like, Shuchi, does it need a tongue? And she was like, yes. So I made a little tongue out of some red fondant, really simple. I just shaped it. I used a veining tool to make like an indent in the center. I kind of pointed it. Then I stuck it between the fangs and I brushed it with clear piping gel to make it look shiny. So now I can add my little spider legs into the cakey, 4 on either side. Look at him. Let's head back to the scary cupcake. So I decided to make this cupcake extra scary by doing something I never do. In fact, it's something I try to avoid. I intentionally put crumbs in my buttercream, so the entire cupcake was drenched. That is something I'm afraid of as a cake decorator, and I did it on purpose. So now I can assemble the cupcake before I continue decorating. I did cut some dowels to put in the bottom, and I cut a little board to put between and then put the cupcake on top. But when I did, there was a space. It's amazing how I can make the same cake a few times and forget what the main problem is. So even on this smaller version of a giant cupcake, the space was too obvious. And I solved that problem by filling that space with little candy eyeballs. So this cupcake is looking at you from every single angle. Then I used a red drip, and I purposely made it like a yucky red. Like it's not bright red, it's a scary red. And into the drip, I pressed on some eyeballs that I made. I had these candy dots, and I piped black chocolate on as a pupil. I ended up only using the yellow, and I pushed that into the drip. It looks like a volcano exploded that was filled with eyeballs.
It's like a cupcake was possessed by an elder god from outer space.
What's with you in outer space? And I made 2 like devilish horns for the top of the cupcake.
It's possessed.
Yes, it's evil.
Right.
It's an evil cupcake. You can't eat this cakey. This cakey will eat you. And then there's this sort of faceless little devil of a cupcake. Guys, have you ever had nightmares about baking or cakes or a cupcake filled with eyeballs? Just let me know in the comments. I will after today. And then eventually the cake fell over and the cake fell over and the spider cakey attacked me. And that's how this ends. What's happening? Let me know which other desserts you think are secretly evil. Put it in the comments. I considered making a scary donut, and I was like, a donut would never.